Hi, Aman. Great to be here at this space that you call the Wesmarc Delight Studio. But before I go into what's really behind these doors, my first question to you: you're part of a third generation Indian entrepreneurial family. What's it like to run a business that has a family legacy attached to it in terms of the core values that you need to maintain and yet compete and stay ahead of the game at a time when there's so much cutting edge technology in the mix?
Thank you. Vande Matram. We always at Westmark start with that. It is quite a privilege, honestly, to come from a family business background because I believe right from a very early stage, we get exposed to some nuances of business and some insight into the way trade is managed and how to handle situations. So my grandfather started in 1965, my father in 96 and me in 2018. So there is this legacy. My father and his brothers have built Ashirwad pipes very successfully. And today it's a leader in the plumbing space in India, and we also export to over 40 countries. And in a short period of about 20 odd years, achieving that is very remarkable. And what we at Westmark have tried to continue from that is if you have that mind that you are still here to learn, you are always listening to the market and accepting and adopting that and implementing that, thinking on your feet and being quick decision makers. I think taking a decision is one thing, taking a decision in time is another thing because time can go against you. You may take the right decision, but if you're 2 years late or 2 days late, it can have an impact of win or lose. Ashirwad is a legacy that we are blessed with, and we do our level best to build on it and use that as a stepping stone and go further. It's fairly large, and so we of course have to now do bigger and better than that because that's the aim that we have.
Fair points. Now, looking at the story behind Wesmarc, really, your father Aman Poddar founded and was at the helm of Ashirwad Pipes for a long time. What really was the rationale behind launching a Wesmarc Doors in terms of the synergies that you had with your initial business? How are you looking at it?
Yes, it's correct. My father, Mr. Aman Poddar, but also supported and assisted right from the beginning with his two brothers, Mr. Deepak and Mr. Vikas Poddar, my uncles, great mentors to me. All three of them have been the real reason for the success of Ashirwad, individually taking technical or production or manufacturing or finance as a role. Where does Westmark come? We started in 2018 with me taking the lead because, in short, there is really no Ashirwad for doors.
Yeah.
Which means there's a big vacuum in the market. Of course, you get a door. You go down the road, you will get 5 people giving you doors. But is it really of the right quality, the right consistency, the technology, the materials, the finish, the brand, the warranty, the after sales? No, 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 probably no, probably no. And so that's where we felt there is a gap. So it still for me was the traditional formula of business, which is manufacturing and brick and mortar and industries. That's what I've always been passionate about. But how did we come to doors? For me, it was more like process of elimination, not this, or why not that? And then finally factoring 4 or 5 criteria about the size of the business opportunity, the other players in the space, my ability to step into that space and add value over there, building on the exposure and the platform that I do have. So factoring all those things, we felt that in the building space, there are still a few products which are fragmented, unorganized, but doors and frames for me was the hit. And so that's why we are in this.
Sure. So, it's been about a 5 to 6 year journey for you with Wesmarc Doors. And you say you manufacture super doors. What does that super entail? If you can tell me that, and also tell me a little bit about, the India market. What is the demand like and the entire process of category creation that you mentioned?
Correct. So our doors are referred to as super doors. And again, when I say doors, we always mean it's a system. It's the shorthand is doors, but it's door frames, hardwares, because that's a complete system. So a shirt is nothing without a button, or a jacket is nothing without the zip. Same way, a door is nothing without the right hardware or the frames. So we manufacture super doors. They are super because they're super smart, they're super strong, they're super stylish, they're super safe. What I mean by that is they do have certain unique properties related to aesthetics or design or functionality or installation or strength or durability. We started in 2018. It's been a long journey, a lot of learnings. It's a complete blank, this space. And there's really no one to sort of take inspiration from or look up to. For everything, we have to look at the West, at least in the product sense. Of course, the business side, we try to understand how the Indian market or the Indian consumer behaves. But from a product side or technology side or machine or materials, it's Europe. So it took us a long time. It took us almost 2 years to do only R&D. Coming from the background that I do, we can't even have one wrong door go in the market with our name on it because we risk a lot. I come from a plastics background, so timber and wood and door is completely new. Then we have to, of course, build a factory because machines like this, factory like this doesn't exist. Then came COVID, then a lot of trials and errors. So we've been in the market for about a year and a half now. We service the southern part of India as of now. Maybe in about 6 months' time, we are going to go to the west and then other parts. So yes, our doors are super doors, and we do have a lot of features which is very unique and only available in Wesmarc Doors. And so in that sense, we say we are India's first and only manufacturing company for doors, which make rebated doors and full wall wrap adjustable frames, which is just unique to Wesmarc.
Sure. Like, talking more about the features, if you can take me through some more of that, and what really brought you around to engineering those features into these doors? Was it a lot of customer research? How did you really arrive at these features and build the need for these in the market?
A lot of observation, a lot of discussions with people, exhibitions that we visited, door manufacturing companies in the West, materials, machines. Of course, interaction with a lot of architects, builders, potential channel partners of ours tomorrow, even including carpenters who are going to tomorrow install these products. And then we realized there are lots of gaps and misses today in this. Sure. Right from people don't get the fit and finish at site. And work at site means originality of the fit and finish is gone. So that's one thing which we have evolved. So it's almost like an IKEA. All you need to use is a screwdriver and nothing more. So there's no much skill or time or competence or equipment or tools required at site. So that was one observation which we have solved. We have a lot of people in our country, but we don't necessarily have skilled people. And at that level, at a site, and with thousands of apartments being built in every week, getting that multiplier effect is very difficult.
Can I install a Wesmarc door myself? Like
yes, in 2 hours of training, you can.
Okay.
Which is not what we expect you to do, but it's a way to tell that it's so easy that not coming from a carpentry world background, you and I can, with a 2 hours training, or just go through the YouTube video yourself, you install it yourself. So that was one of the observations which we had, which we've solved. The other is wall tolerances. Measurements what are followed on an AutoCAD drawing when an architect drafts the layout. Unfortunately, because we have brick and cement wet constructions, the millimeter accuracy of wall openings is not followed. So what is on paper and what is at site is sometimes varying in inches. Then what do? You cut the door. You resize the door end frame. When you do that, again, we're talking about tools and fit and finish is lost. And that's when, the water issue starts coming because the originality is lost. That's the other let's say, super quality that we have, where we've allowed for a tolerance of wall, be it if it's a bigger wall or a smaller wall in height or width or wall thickness. Our frames have a level of flexibility, a level of adjustment, just like a watch, you can go one strap, one hook up or down, something like that in the frames where you can account for that tolerance in the wall without having to alter the door or frame. At the same time, without having to alter the wall, because nobody is interested in altering the wall at that stage, because it's again time, civil work, money, dust, effort. And so we've sort of found that bridge between not having to compromise on the wall, not having to compromise on the product. And then, of course, many more add-on features like our doors have a soft close, our doors have a higher acoustic insulation, so you have more privacy. Of course, we have better fit and finish and design and quality. We offer longer warranties. We are a one-stop solution where you get door, frame, handle, lock, hinge. Even now, with the kind of monsoons we have, or the weather changes or seasonality changes, I'm sure everybody has experienced this on a day-to-day basis. The doors get tight or it drags on the floor. And that's simply because either it's sagging or falling, that means the hardware is not correct, or it's swelling or contracting, which means the timber is not rightly seasoned.
Got it. So from, what I hear, these are pretty high-tech engineered doors. You mentioned a factory that you have in Bangalore as well. Take me through, the size and scale of this factory. What is the range of SKUs that you have?
It is high-tech, and we don't shy from saying that doors are rocket science. It's just that if you get yourself open to understanding this world, then you will see that it's much more than just a piece of timber closing the hole in the wall. It's much, much more than that. There are 17 steps that go into manufacturing a door and frame, which is very counterintuitive because somebody thinks it's just a plank of wood and is a veneer on those two sides, and then you have a hole with the handle or hinge. Our factory is located here in Bangalore at Bomasandra, right next to Electronic City. It's spread over 6 acres. It's got a manufacturing space of 2 lakh square feet. It's a multi-level unit. Very proud to say, at the same time very humble to say, that we are India's largest integrated door and frame manufacturing company. We produce a door and frame in every 3 minutes. So that's the scale of operations that we operate at. It's fully automated, very high tech. There's really no sort of smell or dust or noise and vibration, which is typically in a typical manufacturing unit. My father and I, when we went to Germany in 2017 first for doors, he asked me to promise one thing. We saw a couple of factories and he said, Aman, I have the checkbook. At least I have the resources that I can use. But if you are guaranteeing me that you can do something better than that here. And so that was always the benchmark set for us to outperform. I'm supposed to build a factory here, which is a startup, which we know nothing about, better than those guys who've been doing for 30 years. So that's, a huge challenge. But I'm again very proud and humble to say that when these machines were being installed by the very same German companies, we have a few testimonials from some of them saying that our factory is better than theirs.
Sure. And that's good validation that you have, from your international partners as well. But you mentioned, of course, building in Bharat. So how much of this supply chain do you really own? How much of it is end to end in terms of engineering and manufacturing the entire product here? So tell me a little bit about the supply chain.
We're still very heavily dependent on imports. We import a lot of our raw materials from Germany, a couple of them from Italy, but that's the two countries that we extensively buy from. Having said that, we are very committed and conscious to localize as fast as possible, as much as possible, our procurements from our fellow partners here in India. I'm happy to say that we have also made some investments by ourselves to locally develop and produce some raw materials for ourselves. All the others we are working closely in terms of R&D and development. But the kind of volumes that we require, the kind of consistency we need, and also some of the high-tech raw materials we need to make a high-tech product is not necessarily available. Our product itself, we say it's German engineered, Bharat made, because of course the door and frame is manufactured here. We say German engineered because a lot of the inspiration for the kind of geometry, the kind of materials, the way the door is manufactured, the kind of hardware is heavily German inspired.
Sure, understandable. And when it comes to, creating that demand here in India for such quality products and category creation, it is a pretty niche business that you're into. How are you sort of building leadership in this space?
It's niche only because nobody has really jumped into it and explored it and broadened it. Doors is still a very unorganized space, a very fragmented space. You have multiple hundreds and thousands of door makers. You really don't have even a South level player, let alone a national player. So that brings us the added challenge, which we like, to create this category, to create the awareness, to make sure the product is well known amongst people, to have experience centers, which we call a delight studio, where a customer, a husband, wife, a home builder can come here and really enjoy and experience the world of doors, because this is a world unexplored. We do a lot of training programs. We take part in a lot of exhibitions. We talk to people like you. We try to get ourselves known to the community of developers, builders, architects, anyone who's got to do with any form of construction, because that's the beauty of doors. You need it right from homes to hotels to hospitals to malls, a high-end, low-end. Any room, any space requires a door, because that's the point of passage. And so it's a mandatory purchase. And if you can make that procurement more seamless, more enjoyable, the installation is nicer, you enjoy using the product, then it adds to the, us being able to give them one more happiness at their home. Because of course, you spend so much money, so much time in that one home, which for most of us is still a dream. And we take so much pain in selecting the tile or the marble or the bath fittings or the kitchens or the wardrobes or fabrics. doors are also incredibly important.
Sure. You mentioned the Delight Studio. What was the idea behind setting up the space? Why do you call it the Delight Studio? And what does a sort of customer walk in here and find?
So I'm happy to share we have a few today in a very short span of time. We have two in Bangalore, one right here where we are in Indranagar and one in the premises of our factory in Bomasandra. We have one 4,500 square feet, extensively large Delight Studio in Hyderabad, in Banjara Hills. And probably next month, we will have one up and running in Chennai. We call it a Delight Studio because it is not a typical experience center where you just come and see 5 products and you go. We really want you to immerse yourself in the world of doors. So we have trained executives always over here who we call a customer happiness officer. And they are here to show you the different models, the different dimensions, the different hardwares, the different technology, the different supers in the super doors. So you really understand what you're buying and you make an informed decision. Our effort over here is to make sure you know what you are buying. And so you are involved in that decision making and automatically the passion into the product comes. But we're trying to aim and achieve that someday somebody will go and hug a door, right? Because that's when you have that bond with that product. But many times today you may slam the door, whatever. Gussa kaise nikalte? How do you take out your anger on the door? Ever have you taken out your watch and thrown it? No. So hopefully one day, very soon, we would create this category and people would love their doors more than just a niche of players, but a larger audience.
Great point there, totally relatable as well. Now, when you talk about, what you've sort of established so far, it's quite a lot in a span of 5 to 6 years. But when you look at it from the outside world and it comes to, the perception that people have about a family-run business, usually the idea is that, it came easy. How have you sort of navigated all of this? What are the challenges that you face? And how do you believe you are personally making your mark?
I must say it upfront and as straightforward as I can, it's not come easy. And I don't think it comes easy for anyone. Because I believe the higher the platform that you start at, the higher the responsibility that you have to deliver. While I accept and I agree that you have resources, a safety net, a platform that you can start from, which if you use to your advantage, gives you a head start. But if you also don't, you fall from a bigger height. Nothing comes easy. Nothing is given on a platter. At least I can speak about our family home. So we are blessed, but we are also very humbled and conscious all the time because we do understand that we have a certain responsibility to give back and to add from where we are. So we always have looked at it in that sense. So even, this whole Wesmarc was a way of giving back also. Of course, we are all trying to fulfill our individual goals in the process, but there are also parallel goals in this. And how do I give back to my nation and how do I give back to my fellow colleagues? And that's where my definition or my approach to entrepreneurship is. Can I fulfill my dreams through others' dreams or others' dreams through my dreams? And I think it's that way because there is no I. It has to be a team. And that's the journey of entrepreneurship. But it's very challenging. Very, very exciting. Every day is something new, but it's not easy. And somebody who wants to do it, I really encourage them to do it, to take the plunge. But I also very much encourage them to be prepared for the magnitude of the task that they are trying to get themselves into.
Yeah, fair point. Now, when it comes to, your core learning, takeaway, or like an advice that you would want to give to, fellow entrepreneurs or people who are, taking on a family business for the first time, what would you have to share with them? Were there a lot of struggles in terms of, letting go of the old way of doing things and setting up new processes for a new age digital India?
The short answer is yes. There are a lot of struggles. There is a lot of mindset change that one needs to do. When you tell yourself, ye karna hai, to ye karna hai. But it is not easy to let go. And whether you are starting something new or you are changing, even just a business model, you're just pivoting a small change in a business model or a whole product or a setup, going from one family business to another, or any form of change is tough. I mean, you ask me about Ashirvad or you ask me about the earlier ways of doing things or the scale of that business or whatever. It's still not in some way sunk in. We haven't sort of accepted that, adapted to all those changes. But the sooner that we do, the better it is, because we have to move on. But I can only tell that it's a beautiful journey. It's something that one must try. They want to extend while staying in the family business and grow that, or step out and do something. Of course, both have their plus, both have their challenges. Working in the family business environment, also you have friction, you have clash of ideas and thoughts, but you also mature as a person. And how do you live together, coexist, co-work? If you try to do it all by yourself, you'll realize how much can you do it all. There's limited time and there's limited resources. You do need people around you. And then again, you'll have those frictions and challenges and different thoughts over there. So if you can manage it there, you can manage it here. Take the challenge of doing something. Whether you continue doing it in your family business or you step aside and do it by yourself, kuch bhi karo, but karo. Give that challenge to yourself and give it a shot.
Some inspiring thoughts there. And of course, it involves a balancing act, whatever you take up. Closing comments in terms of what is your vision now for Wesmarc Doors going forward? I think a lot of the applications and the business is also very closely tied to the sentiment around real estate, commercial space, and the housing market sentiment as well. So how are you looking at it?
So putting it very short and sweet, every space, any upcoming construction site can and should have a Wesmarc door. Whether it's a high-end real estate or whether it's a low-income housing, whether it's a home or real estate or hospital or hotel or project or metro, every space needs a door. It'll have a kitchen or a bathroom or a pantry or bedroom or cabin or conference room or meeting room, which needs a door. We make doors for all applications. We have different dimensions, different materials, different models, different technologies, So we have a product for every need. Of course, we're also constantly adding and doing innovation. And for the next 20, 30 years, the real estate market in India is only going to go upwards. Now, it really doesn't matter if it's a percentage point more or less, but everybody is still needing their first home or the kind of infrastructure development that's happening here. And so that's another reason why we chose doors, because there is a huge gap and there is a huge need. And our effort is constantly to get our product acknowledged by people, make them aware of it, make it available in the shop near your house down the road. And so nothing less than every home needs a Wesmarc door. Nothing less than every hotel, every hospital needs a Wesmarc door. And so that's our ambition and that's our aim.
Great. Good luck to you on that journey, and thanks so much for sharing your journey so far with us. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Namaste. Jai Hind.